I'm kind of lost, if I'm honest.
Nope.
I think we can do it faster than that. I'm getting dripped on. You are perfection. €3 for a train ticket. This isn't Britain. Probably go. We are in Sintra, little town about half an hour away from Lisbon on the train. There's about 30 different places to go and see whilst you're in Sintra. And I'm only here for today, so I have come up with a route for us. I'm hoping this walk takes us into the forests, into the national park that Sintra's in. And it's relaxing and peaceful and bucolic and green. But I have no idea, if I'm honest. Also, the mountains of Sintra. Also, the hills of Sintra. Meant to be supernatural. Mysterious. Maybe there's hidden treasure. There's meant to be a hidden treasure. I'm just saying there's meant to be a hidden treasure. If a car comes down this road at any speed, I'm just dead, right? Yeah, thank you. I'll do that. That was the Sabuga font, the most famous font in all of Sintra. We all knew about it. The water there, which I don't think you're meant to put in pop bottles, the water is meant to be palliative, if not magical. Some guy did like a water survey of Sintra in the 1700s, and he said it would cure you from bilious diarrhea. Now I don't have. My constitution's fine right now, but it can't hurt. Maybe it'll cure what ails me. There's definitely a mineral zing to that water. I don't think it's the residual residue of the wormwood from a Kinney Zest drink from Malta. I'm just gonna stay here where it's safe. I really don't want to be dodging cars all day today, so I'm hoping that there's either footpaths or trails. I don't really mind which at the moment. I have to say I'm a bit of a fan of the road signs around here, the street names. They're all on tiles. I know Portugal's pretty famous for tiles, but look, I have a thing, right? I like tiles. I like glazing and stuff like that. I don't know why, I always have. I think it looks nice. So I'm at the Quinta da Regaleira, which is essentially a mansion built by a Freemason who was a bit eccentric, which is why I'm here. All around the estate there's meant to be Masonic, alchemical, Rosicrucian, Knights Templar, imagery of all these types of things, which means there's got to be secrets somewhere around here. There's a basement, I bet, with a pool of liquid mercury. Is the Philosopher's Stone here? You betcha. Look, I'm just willing to believe these things. Hello. All the majesty of a eccentric mansion built by a wealthy Freemason over 100 years ago. But that cat, I mean, it's difficult to compare. Up there's the initials of the guy who built this place. I mean, the estate's been around for a lot longer, but the guy who built the actual, or the Freemasonry stuff, it's called Carvalho Monteiro, I think. CM. But my initials are MC, which means if I bought this at some point in the future, I wouldn't have to change any of the monikers anywhere. I could just roll with it. I'm kind of lost, if I'm honest. Up here, I'm trying to find a well, but it's not really a well. It's more like a, you'll see. Normally you don't go upwards to find a well. It's stuff like this tower, right? it's a bit eccentric. It serves no purpose. These aren't the biggest steps I've ever seen. Oh, to be an eccentric Freemason with unlimited money. You could build such weird nonsense. No one's going to question you, they're just going to go, yeah, that's old Maddie. He's like that. Nothing in here. Got a torch.
Can I see?
There's nothing, literally
nothing.
Nothing in there. Oh, there is a tunnel here. What's going on? Ooh.
Don't go in there. Don't go in there.
I'm just looking.
I deserved it. Oh.
Then in the middle you have the cross.
Rumour has it that these tunnels were a place where Knights Templar could do initiations. They'd have to come down here blindfolded, wielding a sword, and have to find their way out alone.
Freedom. I've undergone the initiation. You really can't get lost around here. Which I think was the point. There's just entrances and tunnels and caves and mysterious staircases. And you probably have to pull a lever what's actually a stone and then put a sword back into a statue's arms, and that's going to open up a secret alleyway in the chapel, which is where you'll find the shotgun. But no ammo. It's all a bit like a video game. How the hell do you get out of here? Pretty sure you can get the bus or even a tuk-tuk or anything like that for the first few destinations we have today. There's also a hike, which is what I'm going to do, obviously. Whenever I have someone in front of me on a trail, a narrow trail, I have the overwhelming urge to be in front of them. And then I don't want to be right in front of them, so I have to power off ahead. And I did that the whole way up. And now I'm knackered. No wonder they thought this castle was siege-proof. You'd lose the will to fight by the time you got to the top. So this is the Moorish castle, built by the Moors between the 8th and 9th century. Impenetrable, they say. I can see why. Not that it mattered. Eventually they gave it up in the 11th century during the Reconquista, when the Christians came to take back Iberia. From my limited understanding of what the Reconquista was, it's just a good old-fashioned bloody tug-of-war over religious but also political supremacy of Portugal and Spain, Iberia. God, what an awesome relic to leave behind though. I've been to a lot of castles, but this is a pretty cool castle. The best bit about walking this, rather than getting all the transport available, other than walking is free, is that it's just a bit more peaceful and quiet now. It's what I was kind of hoping from this trip. I didn't realise quite how industrial the industry was of all these different palaces. Of course it makes sense, but because it's a real industry, it means there are no footpaths. I am just kind of walking the road. But you know, I can hear the cars coming. It all kind of reminds me of Angkor Wat in Cambodia. You know, all the different temples in a huge complex, but it's an industry, right? There's people to take you from place to place and little shops everywhere. Sintra got its name, as the story goes, because people around here during the Roman era decided to build a temple to Octavius Augustus II, and he didn't like it. So instead they dedicated this temple to the moon, to Cynthia. I can see that making sense. Cynthia, Sintra, Sintra. What is down this tunnel? Nope. I can tell you what's down that tunnel. Really big spiders. I'm done. Ugh, all my hair's standing on end. I got the heebie-jeebies. Gosh, this is nice. This is what I was kind of hoping the whole day would be like. Well, that and everything being free to get in. It isn't. And this is even better. I'm no longer actually just walking in the middle of a road. So this is Capuchos convent. And I have to say, I like it already because there's a lot less people here. As in, there's no one here other than some groundskeepers who are doing some planting, it looks like. So this convent was set up in the 1500s as a place of contemplation and solitude. And you can see why they picked it here. It's so peaceful. And convents that were in the order of St. Francis of Assisi means that it was to do with giving up all of your worldly trappings and shunning the world and putting all the luxuries behind you and having a very incredibly simple life. I really want that mug. Yeah, it's nice here. There was one monk, a guy called Brother Honorio, and because he gave in to temptation, whatever that means, he decided that he should come here and live an incredibly simple life in penance. Quiet contemplation with nothing but bread and water up in these hills. I suppose to some people that would be perfect. I might get a little bored, if I'm honest. I feel like this is Brother Honorio's grave. I can't be sure, but Honorius, I guess he's still here in one way or another. After losing a huge battle, Philip I of Portugal came here, and he's quoted as to say, "Out of all my kingdom, the two places that give him the most pleasure are the Escorial, which is a huge monument, monastery, palace in Spain." He said the Escorial for all its riches, and this convent because it's so poor. There must have been something about this place. Even the king liked it. Or liked the idea of being here, maybe. I bet he spent more time at the other place. My final stop for the day is about 4 or 5 miles. I think just down this track. But I do have a fun, weird and supernatural story to tell you as we walk. This path is definitely kind of cornered off by some tape, but according to my map, this is the way. So I'm just going to hope that this is the way. I had to duck out of the way of a couple of construction crews. I've no idea what they're doing, but there's forestation stuff going on. I guess they're planting trees and sorting out roads. If someone wants to stop me, they can certainly ask, I suppose. So, that story. In 1984, a family around here called the police because they had very much an emergency going on. Now, what made that emergency peculiar was that they complained that rocks were mysteriously flying at them and that they were appearing out of nowhere and hurtling themselves at the residents of this farmhouse. It was the fire service that ended up taking the call, and when they turned up, that's what they found, that 10 residents of a farmhouse were trying to protect themselves from rocks that were seemingly coming out of nowhere and hurling themselves at them. One of the firefighters said that he didn't believe in witchcraft or anything like that, and immediately that happened, one of the rocks hurled at him. One more thing that was slightly odd is that the rocks themselves didn't hurl themselves very fast, so if they were to hit you, it didn't really hurt. I mean, the firefighter was quite lucky, but if there was something in the way of the rocks, like a door or a shield of some description, it would leave a dent in whatever was in the way. When the police and the firefighters inspected the actual rocks that were being thrown, they were hot to the touch, and it was all kind of centered around the groundskeeper, a woman called Elvira Teodoro. And the phenomenon only stopped when her and her family left and they sought refuge in a nearby town. Reporters have dug into this a lot and questioned people, family members, people that were meant to have been there that night. And the main woman, the groundskeeper, said that these type of things followed her around. But the mystery is that there are official reports about this, loads of eyewitnesses, and to this day, no one has ever been able to work out what the hell happened. I suppose it could just all be a folk story, but there's a lot of rocks around here, so if something hits me in the back of the head and I'm not expecting it, we'll know what it was. From start to finish, it's been cornered off, but didn't even really see anyone, so I think that's alright. This is actually a dangerous road. In 1986, I have a fact about this. In 1986, Group B rally racing essentially ended because of this road. There was a crash, killed 4 people, injured about 30 or 40. But then again, those cars were going about 150 miles an hour down this road. And if we're honest about it, thousands of spectators literally on the road jumping out of the way of cars as they come past. Wasn't great. Yeah, Group B rally racing ended here. A fact I kind of wish I didn't know. My final destination for the day. Sun's going down. Set off at 9 o'clock. Done about 7.5 hours of walking today. I'm tired, but it's been good, and I've had you here with me, so hasn't been that bad, has it? According to my phone, I've walked 14.5 miles so far, and I do know that Sintra is still another hour's walk away, but I can manage. Maybe I'll even find a bus. Wouldn't that be wild? This is called the Blue Lagoon. I don't really know anything about it other than it sounded nice, which is why I came here. I've got some Portuguese treats. These are called Broa Castella. I'll be honest with you, I kind of don't know what they are, but they were on offer this morning. They are a little bit worse for wear. I hope they're chocolate. Oh, that's going to be a problem, putting these back in my bag. Oh God. They're kind of like a sticky, chewy orange cake, which I'm not against. Wouldn't be my first choice, but it is the choice today. I've been carrying this beer around with me all day for just the right moment to have it. And I think now might be that moment. I'm kind of beat up. In total I walked 18 miles yesterday, up and down some hills. I'm feeling it right now. Although I suppose it would help if I was going the right direction. Never mind, back this way. Gosh though, it's about 7 o'clock in the morning right now. And it is chilly this morning. My fingers are cold. Not quite sure how I get to platform 1, but I'm sure I'll work it out. I promise not to mention it again. But I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. that's positive because I'm going to Tomar and the train exists. Platform 5. Tomar doesn't look like it's a particularly big town, and I'm going to a castle, so I'm just going to assume that's it. But it's not just any castle, I hope, because this was not en route. Can you guess what type of castle it is? I just saw a mirror and realised I am rather dishevelled. Well, this is quite nice. A scenic spot to enjoy an off-brand energy drink and get my mouth around some delicious Filipinos. Good name, good name. Pretty good. In the 1100s, Tomar was founded as a Knights Templar town. Literally, it was made by the Knights Templar. And it was their headquarters. I mean, Tomar is very much the centre of Portugal. And this was the headquarters for a big swath of land in the middle of Portugal. So there's a lot of Knights Templar heritage here, which is what I like, because that also means definitely buried treasure. 1000%. The story is that this was a special place that was found through magic and geomancy. My guess is this was by the river and had a hill. But I like the story better. This steep cobblestone street though is making me feel like I'm on pilgrimage. Good heavens. It is kind of cool though, going to a Knights Templar church, fortification, castle, the convent of Christ. Ultimately the royal families of Europe got kind of worried about there being a massive Catholic army roaming around. So the Knights Templar got turned into a demilitarized group called the Order of the Cross, the Knights of the Cross, something like that. Or did they? They did, but did they? Definitely, but also, did they? Worth thinking about. Maybe the Knights Templar never went away, and they're still roaming around with their secrets and their treasure. The first secret that I'd like them to give up is, where the hell is the entrance? There's no way this is the entrance. What is happening? I'll be honest, I'm a little bit confused. Apparently there might be a second entrance. Or maybe this is the second entrance and there's a first entrance and that's the entrance. Well, if you know where it is, it's obvious. Am I okay with my bag? I was kind of hoping they'd say, no, you can't take your bag. You'll have to leave your bag here. But they didn't. So I'm carrying it. It definitely is impressive. It's just funny seeing all the Templar crosses. We have so many stories about them. We associate them with secret societies and hidden treasure and maybe the location of Shakespeare's first folio on Oak Island. But it's just a overly religious and military operation, really, when it comes down to it. Ultimately, what's important is that I worked out how to get inside, and honestly, I'm proud of myself. These are all bedrooms. Someone used to sit here thinking, what do I do with my life? I don't want to be in the Knights Templar anymore. This sucks. Imagine this for your bedroom. You're a Knights Templar. It's the 1100s. You're just a mechanic from Gary, Indiana, and you've signed up, and now you're in the middle of Portugal. That goes nowhere. I'm trying to get in there. This place is such a maze. I'm getting closer. Yeah, so the place I've been trying to get this whole time was the place we were at the start, with their nice ceiling. I get it though. The fear of the Knights Templar, a bunch of drunk knights running around fanatically with swords. There's a gift shop there, which means that's probably the exit. I've got no idea how to get there. This is the most confusing building I think I've ever been in. Exit. I found it. What a whirlwind. I kind of want one of those tiles. It marries two things that I enjoy. Knights Templar nonsense and glazed tiles. Because I just like them. I don't know why. I just like them. Did I get outsmarted by a 1,000-year-old building? Well, it's not really, it's not really the point of the video to even discuss that. That's fine. I'm going to make my way to Coimbra, which is a city a couple more hours north, just for stopping the night there, because that's a great start to where we're going tomorrow. Though I might be on the lookout for more Filipinos. I know they're called Filipinos, but you know what I mean. The plan was to have a restful morning, but somehow I think that's not on the cards. A severe weather warning today, apparently. I don't know how much rain means severe in Portugal, but it's certainly wet. I'm going to put my camera away, but just so you know what's going on in the between time, I'm walking in the rain. My train has been replaced, apparently, by a bus, which leaves, hopefully, from here in an hour. All that matters is that you remain positive. And yes, I am a little bit cold and I am a little bit damp. But forward progression. And look at the sun. Can you see the sun is coming out? Good misty morning to you from Santa Campo d'Au, which is essentially, I think fair to say, the absolute middle of nowhere as far as Portugal's concerned. Kind of feels like the Scottish Highlands, not Portugal this morning. But I see the potential for a nice clear day at some point when all this lifts. It's early. I'm heading somewhere called Aberlenda Bike Rental, and I know that the people who live in this house own that bike rental shop, because it says it on the side of the car. Where they're going to drive, I'm walking, so hopefully I'll see them pass me on the way there. No pavements or sidewalks or footpaths though in rural Portugal, and these cars come bumming around these streets very fast and it's foggy, so I'm going to keep my ears open so I don't get absolutely sidelined by a car. In a way, it's really nice to be able to walk through the heartland of Portugal. Give you a bit of a taste of what life is like for, only a glimpse, but a taste for what life is like for a lot of people here. It's picturesque and rural. I wonder if the mini mart is open. Something tells me it's not going to be. Oh, you're lovely. You are perfection. Well, that's made my morning better. I've been walking for about half an hour, so it's nice to know I'm roughly on the right track. I think I can go down this path. Guess we'll find out. If I'm right, there should be a bike rental shop at the end of this track. Now, that doesn't feel like it would be right, but it should be. Well, there is a building down there. Okay, there is this sign that says they are only open on Saturdays and Sundays. It is a Saturday right now, so I'm hoping that they turn up. But it also says it's essential to book in advance, and I haven't booked in advance. I guess I'll wait until 9 o'clock-ish, just after. And there's a phone number, I guess I can call them. Maybe they'll drive down and rent me a bike. At least I've got some friends to hang out with. That could be worse. You handsome devil. Dead on 9 o'clock and a car arrives. I always had faith. Didn't think they were going to come, but they're here. That's good.
So you have to be back before 5:30?
I can do it. Well, I'll go as far as I can get,
Yeah.
meaning I can be back by 5:30.
Yeah.
So that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You just
I'm stopping right next to your house. I saw your car this morning. Yeah, I'm stopping there. That's I was like, okay, I know, I see the car, and I know that they exist.
So this is a very nice bag for you to help you go reach your goal today.
Okay, I can do it. I'll reach my goal. I think I have exactly the right amount of money.
really?
Yes. I suppose a little bit of explanation is in order. I'm cycling the Ecopista Dow, which starts where I am at Santa Comba Dow. That's where we are exactly, I guess. And goes all the way up to Viso. 49 kilometres, which is 30 miles. Now they were saying it takes 4.5 hours to get there and 3 hours to get back. I think we can do it faster than that. I believe in myself. The only issue is it's all uphill the way there, pretty much. But that means that it's all downhill on the way back. So half this ride's going to be easy. The gradient should be fairly level though, because it's an old railway track. That's what the Dow is. That's what the Ecopista is. We're cycling until that number says 0. Is the plan. I feel as though my two main issues for the day, if we ignore the fact I'm going to cycle 60 miles, are visibility, so I can show you where I am and what's going on. Hoping this fog clears up soonish. And the other issue is just going to be keeping my hands warm, because it's a lot colder than I was expecting it to be. I'm just glad I had exactly 14 euros on me. That was useful. It certainly is a very slow and steady uphill. As this was an old railway line, there's stations along the way. Oh, crossing a road actually. There's not many roads, but there are a couple. Okay, back to safety. And the stations have been, by and large, turned into cafes and restaurants and stuff like that. That's the first one I've come across, and it was closed. So we'll see what that means for the rest of them. I redid my calculations and I'm at 31 kilometers to go, this mile marker. Now, if it's 20 past 10, that means I'm on course. If it's later than that, I need to pick up the pace ahead of schedule, which is really good news, honestly, because this is meant to be the hardest part of it, this first quarter. But the fog is lifted, the temperature is actually rising, and my hands aren't blisteringly cold anymore. So, all in all, it's going okay. Must be feeding time for the parrots. Well, I get to go out and have a little fly. That's halfway. Okay, that's good to know. That station's open. I'm getting dripped on. Oh God, I can't see a thing. There we go. The path's broken up into a blue part, a green part and a red part. The red part is the last part. We're making progress. And I like that. I don't know if you need any more footage of me huffing and puffing, but just thought I'd check in. But I've got to say, other than this exact spot where I'm at right now, middle Portugal, rural Portugal, is incredibly beautiful. And they've got loads of these green spaces, just like this, hiking trails and bike paths. I'm not much of a beach kind of guy. This is much more my speed. It's really quite lovely. Figaro! I'm not going to pretend that this last 4 or 5 miles isn't proving pretty difficult. But I haven't stopped, I haven't had a break, I haven't even had anything to drink really, which I need to remedy because I'm thirsty now. I've just done the whole thing straight. I kind of want to prove to myself I could do it in three hours. But I mean, no one's keeping time. No one else cares. I just kind of gave it a sense of pride about it. This last little bit is definitely taking it out of my legs now. Isn't technically the end, it's the start of the next greenway, which we won't be doing today. What time did we make? 5 minutes to spare. 3 hours, well, 2 hours and 55 minutes to be exact. I need some breakfast and a drink and some type of massage chair for my bum. But it just goes to show what you can do if you just keep on going. If you don't stop for anything and you just keep on going, eventually you'll get there, right? That's the way I see it. Whatever you're doing, just keep on going. You can do it. Time to find a grocery store. I'm walking. I'm not cycling. I just downed the largest energy drink I think I've ever seen. It was good. That's all I needed. And I bought some of these. I love these. I eat these at home sometimes, every now and again. Like little creme caramel things. And while I don't have a spoon, I do have the will to eat this. Man, that's good. All that's left to do now is cycle all the way back. Another 30 miles, but it should be downhill. Quick as easy. Quick and easy. It's funny, I've got the sense of accomplishment here because this was the destination, but really the sense of accomplishment should be when I'm back. Let's go. I'm putting it off. Let's do it. Oh, my bum hurts. Let's get going. I'm not going to say it's not without a few uphills, but the way back from Viseu to Santa Comba, if you do this ride, do it this way. This is so much better. Oh, I'm 10 kilometers in. Man, Portugal is good looking. That's halfway back. Woo. Oh yeah. That's really good. Final push. I feel inspired. It's okay. Yeah. You're nice. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but... Alright. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I bloody love goats. I love them so much. I really love goats. It's been nice meeting you. I've got to cycle home, so have a nice time. I'm just 5 kilometers away from the end. But I really want to see and just see if I can get down to the river. Just have a look. Ooh, a bit weak in the knees if I'm honest. But good heavens. Maybe one of these days I do a trip where I kayak down a river. I haven't done much kayaking in my life, but in my mind that certainly seems possible. I'm just trying to make sure I remember where I came down. I should have kept some skimming stones on me. Well, I do have a trick when you run out of skimming stones. 25 cents. I would say skimming these would be at least 25 cents worth of fun. Also, when it's money, it doesn't feel like littering, even though it probably is. Okay, well that one. Look, it's a subtle art, okay? Look, I actually pride myself on being very good at skimming stones. But that didn't go great. Will it even make it into the video? There's no way to know. To me, cycling 60 miles is kind of my idea of a good time. Even if, again, my bum. But doing this one way, cycling around rural Portugal, gosh, it's been my favourite thing I've done in Portugal. We made it, and I saved a flan to drink. I'm not sure the quality of the footage that drinking Crown Caramel makes, but I'm doing it anyway. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I just truly appreciate you for watching. I hope you had fun, and I could only do it because I was doing it with you. You know, that makes gives me the inspiration to carry on doing stuff. Until next time, everyone, a real big onwards and upwards.